What is up, guys? ZL1 back to another video, and today I'm going to be finishing up the 2019 season championship with the Camaro for NASCAR with Chase Elliott's livery. I love this livery. I'm a Chase Elliott fan myself. He's my driver. Ever since Jeff Gordon retired, I've been a fan of Chase Elliott because Gordon was my driver for a long time. So I stepped up to Chase Elliott when he came in. So it's fun to drive his car around. But these cars are very interesting. They are ridiculously fast, unrealistically fast, in fact. In NASCAR, you're never going to see speeds much over 200, maybe a couple miles over, but, 203, 204, that's really the limit. With these cars, I'm already over that, and you're going to see speeds over 220 miles an hour. Well, there's trouble somewhere. There we go. So all the way up to 14th. But I have no slipstream, and that front pack is going to get away because I have no slipstream. So unless one of them falls away, which that kind of already happened, so that might not happen again, I'm going to be stuck in no man's land for a while. Hopefully I can chase them down. There's plenty of time. There's 11 laps, so I have 10 laps left, but I don't think I'm going to be catching them. Well, hold up. He's falling away. They're falling away a little bit. So as long as they stay in two lanes, there's still some hope for them to fall away because it just kind of jostles up a little bit. So if they still stay in two lanes, usually someone's going to drop off. And these two guys are straggling behind, so I'm going to be able to pick up a slipstream. There we go. So I might be able to catch them. Get a nice slingshot here. Go right around the outside of him. See, up over 220 miles an hour. And, okay, so I'm just going to stay tucked behind him. He's going to try to get away from the slipstream because that always happens when you're going faster behind him with the slipstream. So it's a little tough to stay in the slipstream, but I'm going to have to. If I want to catch up to them, I'm going to want to be well over 220 to make a run on him. And I'm going to have to stay behind him to do that. There we go, 221, and he's helping me catch up to them again. So there we go. Beginning of the fourth lap, and I'm right in with the pack. That's much higher than I thought I'd be, but then again, there was a big tussle there early on, which allowed me to move up to the top 15, and we're going to go right down the inside, right beneath everyone. And I don't think I've had a race that I've been in the lead this quickly in a while with these NASCARs, because with this season it's a little interesting because of how fast the cars are. The slipstreams are so important, and I like that because that's how NASCAR is. With the super speedways, with the restrictor plate racing, it is incredibly important to stay in the slipstream. Now obviously in Real Racing 3 it's going to be a little more physical, and you can try and just push your way into the slipstream if you're in a big pack, which in NASCAR doesn't really work because in real life they're incredibly good at driving close together. So, they're not going to have wrecks and stuff like there is. I mean, there's a wreck in NASCAR, obviously, that doesn't happen in this. But it's an 11-lap race, so it's not going to be the same. But since it's so important to stay in the slipstream, you can't just go right around everyone on the outside. You have to be careful about how you do it, because if you just go down the inside, they push you down into the infield and you lose all your speed and wipe out. If you try and go around the outside, even if you pull off an overtake, you're going to lose a lot of speed if you're not in the slipstream, and then when you come out of the turn, they're going to squeeze you into the wall, which obviously that's a problem with the AI just being like that, but because you don't have a huge speed advantage, you have to be careful about what you do, which makes it a lot more realistic, so I like that. I mean, obviously the huge speed is unrealistic, but it makes the racing itself more realistic. So, and with these incredible speeds, you actually have to worry about taking a decent line, because with the other NASCARs, you have enough grip to, chuck the car 220 miles an hour around the turn, but you're not going much over 20, and most of them you hit around 210 with a good slipstream. With these, you're hitting 225, if you have a lot of upgrades, even 230. So you're pushing the limit of the traction even with a good line. So if you go offline, you're in trouble, which I like that. And around Indianapolis, it's even more so. The AI usually even slow down at Indianapolis, so it's a lot easier to win the races. But here at Daytona, they can keep the pedal flat on the floor, but the line still has to be decent, so the overtakes aren't quite as easy as well. So again, you have to be much more careful about what you do and how you do it. So I love that aspect, and I love this entire series because it's so much different and, in my opinion, more realistic than the other seasons. So I really enjoyed it. There's 11 laps in this race, and they're starting to catch me from behind because they have a slipstream and I don't. And keep in mind, I'm running minimum upgrades, like always, 21, 3 in each path, so they are going to have more speed than me, especially with the draft. So I'm going to have to try and keep them behind me in a slipstream so I can just keep my speed up as much as possible, but they're going to close in, so I might have to do a little bit of blocking. We'll see. I did watch the Daytona 500. I didn't watch it live. I wasn't home, but I watched a replay of it, and I was pretty disappointed with how it went for Chase Elliott. With Hendrick Motors locking out the front four, I had huge anticipation for the race. William Byron came out of nowhere, sporting the 24. I have to root for him just because he's 24 and he's running that livery. I love that livery so much. He's not my favorite, but I have to root for him. He's the 24 car, so I was excited to see him on pole. Didn't work out great for him, but then again, it never does for the pole sitter at Daytona. The average finish in the last 10 years for the pole sitter is 24. It's 24 and a half, something like that. So he did beat that, but he was outside the top 20. So it was a little rough, but I don't think anyone expected him on the pole anyway. So he did great to do that. But in NASCAR, pole is not as important as it is in other motorsports because of how long the races are and how much overtaking there is. But for Chase Elliott, a solid race. He was, up and down. He was never really in a really strong position. But, near the end of the race, involved in a 21-car wreck. That wreck was ridiculous. That's the wreck that all non-NASCAR fans want to see. But the wreck that no NASCAR fans wanted to see, so it was interesting, but Chase Elliott, not super involved, but it did affect him, the 21-car wreck, and then a couple laps later, involved in a 5-car wreck. A couple laps later, involved much worse in a 9-car wreck. He was, I think, the only one that was involved in all 3 of those wrecks, so he ended up 24th, which was disappointing, but oh well. So we're going to get this win. This was an incredibly boring race just because the cars that fell away so quickly got right up to the top, got a slipstream, and slipped past everybody. So that was a little more boring than I was anticipating, but hey, got an easy win. So I'll take it, I'll take it. Hamlin finished second. Kyle Busch. Can't say I'm a big fan of either of those drivers, but did have the fastest lap of the race at a 40.319. And I won by about 2 seconds, so give that some service, get it repaired so I can keep on racing it in the career series, or motorsports, I guess. But there we are, there's the trophy. 35 gold, not too bad. And there we go. I love this livery personally. I wasn't a big fan of the Hooters livery that they revealed, so I love this one much more. Not my favorite of his. I really liked his one from his sophomore year. Not the one that he won at Watkins Glen with, but the dark blue one with a little bit of white. I really loved that livery, but this is a great livery, and I love driving the NASCAR, and I like the realistic racing with it, so I loved this series. My favorite NASCAR series that they've had so far, so really good job with that. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you later.